Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So according to The Athletic and Michael Coppinger, Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin 2 has been set for November the 21st. Obviously, Alexander Povetkin knocked Dillian Whyte clean out first time around back in August. And according to Mike Coppinger, the rematch is set for November 21st, I'm presuming in the UK. Now, this is a very quick turnaround from that knockout loss for Dillian Whyte. A really quick turnaround. Now, after the first fight, Eddie Hearn insinuated that the rematch would take place in a quick time frame and it would be a quick turnaround, and obviously now that looks like the case. But the question is, who does that really favour? Dillian Whyte is coming off the back of a horrendous knockout. It was a brutal one-punch finish by Alexander Povetkin. You know, in the UK, I believe the medical suspension for a knockout like that is a minimum of around 30 days, and it can actually be more than that, up to like 45 days, I believe even up to 2 months. So the question is, after that brutal knockout loss, what is Dillian Whyte's medical suspension and when will he resume training? People may say, well, he's out in Portugal, so he's going to resume training a lot earlier. Well, if that's the case, I would suggest that the people around Dillian Whyte don't really have his best interests at heart. Those medical suspensions are in place for a reason, and it's to allow you to recover fully before going into the ring again, even if it's just sparring. So I'm kind of wondering whether Dillian is actually sparring before that medical suspension even ends. And yeah, I mean, it's a quick turnaround. Who does it really favour? Some people may say it favours Dillian Whyte getting straight back in there, you know, trying to right the wrong, maybe. But, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it favours Alexander Povetkin more. I mean, Povetkin now is past his prime, he's past his best, and the best thing for him, in my opinion, is an immediate turnaround, where he's still training, he's still active, and, you know, there's no ring rust, there's no cobwebs, there's nothing like that. For an older fighter like Povetkin, I think that could be quite beneficial, you know. I saw a noticeable decline from the Michael Hunter fight to the Dillian Whyte fight. That time frame was around 8-9 months when Povetkin was out of a ring, and he looked rusty. Obviously he's old and he is past his best. Maybe it was down more due to that, but, you know, I don't think the longer layoff helped at that age. We're not going to have that going into this rematch. So I think this short time frame, this short turnaround, actually could favour Povetkin, to be honest. Again, he's going to be going right back into training and building on what he did first time around. You know, he knows what he did right, he knows what he did wrong, and he can work on that kind of thing. As for Dillian Whyte, you know, the pressure really is on in this rematch. I mean, a loss here again to Povetkin really does signal major damage to his career. If he could beat Povetkin in a rematch, obviously that salvages his mandatory position, and that cements his title contention kind of thing. But at the same time, by the way, I mean, what did Eddie Hearn say about Povetkin Whyte during the lead-up? Oh, Povetkin's had a right touch. If Povetkin beats Whyte, he's going to get a shot at Fury. Well, he beat Whyte, and here we are. That's kind of funny, right? But yeah, I mean, this turnaround, this quick turnaround, I think it's a risky move from Team Whyte. I really do, man. A knockout like that takes a long time to recover from, not only physically, but mentally. Getting in there with Povetkin again at such a quick turnaround, in my opinion, is certainly a risk. Certainly a risk. If I was Dillian Whyte, if I was Eddie Hearn, if I was his management team, mind you, Dillian, he's his own manager, but if I was somebody around Dillian Whyte, if I was in his inner circle, I would be advising to actually maybe take the rest of the year off and have this rematch, you know, sort of springtime next year. You know, let Povetkin sit out a bit, you know, not train, get a bit rusty, and then go again in spring next year and have that rematch then. You know, Povetkin is, what, 41 years old now. Having this guy sit around a bit longer is only going to benefit Dillian Whyte. Povetkin is getting no better at 41 years old. You know, I've been noticing a very obvious decline in Povetkin for the last 4 years. He's not going to get any better. in the foreseeable future, you know? So if I was Dillian, if I was his team, I'd be looking at pushing this rematch back as long as possible, as long as contractually possible, you know? But Dillian Whyte wants to get back in there with Povetkin straight away. That is one, I guess that's a positive, I guess, in one sense, because it does kind of highlight Dillian's mindset, you know, his attitude and his desire to get back to the top. He clearly wants it. That's a good thing. But, you know, at the same time, it is a risk. It's a risk, you know? We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I think this rematch is going to be fascinating. It really is. I'll be interested to see how Dillian approaches this rematch, you know, whether he introduces any new faces to his training camp, whether he even changes his trainer, anything like that. I'll be interested to see if he makes any additions to that camp, and I'll be interested to see how he approaches this rematch, you know. Gonna be a very interesting rematch, man. It's basically a real high-stakes affair, you know. Povetkin loses, his career's done at 41 years old. He doesn't get his final title shot. If Whyte loses, then his career really is in jeopardy at that point. Losing twice to a past his best Povetkin isn't the greatest advertisement for getting a title shot, is it? This rematch is fascinating. I do have a couple of problems with it. Not really actually the fight itself, but more so how the first fight was sold. You know, people were saying that if Povetkin won, he would get a title shot. Well, that's not the case, but regardless of all that, it's a really interesting rematch. Share your thoughts below. What do you make of this news? Who are you picking in the rematch? Who are you favouring? Or are you undecided like me? Yeah, I'm undecided right now, I have to say. Anyway, share your thoughts below. Peace.